This is definitely meant to be on the track. Obviously, these have been on the track too. You can tell by all the graining here. All right, so we just got done appropriately getting the most life out of this set of tires. So this is actually the original chrome wheels that came with Rowdy, the stock C6 Z06 wheels. And we were about to swap our other tires back on, and I thought this would be a good time to talk about tires. So I noticed when we put these on, now granted these are really old, which goes into it, but literally I wanted to get some oil temps up. So I went up the street really quick, nothing crazy, just driving just to run the car, and literally just pulling out, put the car in second gear, and like no throttle, and the tires just started spinning. So I put it in third, and just going, tried to accelerate, and they just started spinning. The car is trying to kick out. I mean, I'm not even kidding, was not trying to spin the tires. So part of that is these are very old tires. So that's part of it. But that just goes into when these cars were made, like Death Wish Viper over there. And I remember like my dad's Z06, the tires it had originally, tires were not that great back then. And honestly, today, what we think is a great tire, like this Michelin Pilot Sport 4S right here, in maybe another 10 years, maybe that won't be very good either. But this kind of gave me the idea that when the Viper was new, when the Z06 back in the day, the tires weren't nearly as grippy as just, this is a tire you can use all the time kind of tires are today. I think that's why a lot of these cars were wrecked, why we hear about, oh, they're so dangerous, it's deadly, it's crazy, it's whatever. It's because all that perception is taken off of something even older than this, honestly. A lot of these cars, they do sit around, they don't get driven all that much. The tires might have a ton of tread, but the tire is old and it does not have any grip anymore. So combine old tire technology, which when it was new wasn't that great, and the tire sitting around for a long time, and you're gonna get the result I just saw with this tire. And I think that combined with, honestly, most people aren't incredibly skilled drivers, and I'm not saying I'm the most skilled driver. I beat Max Verstappen on the sim, so that says, I'm just kidding, I did not. Anyways, all that to say, make sure you run good tires on your car, on the street. I know it matters in drifting too, but if you're going to a drift event, sure, shred this stuff all day long. But yeah, it's just not worth not having good tires for your safety, for the people around you. It's amazing what a difference, a new, good, high quality tire versus this had a bunch of tread on it. It was just an old tire. And this is a Michelin. Like, this is a good tire when it was newer. Don't mess with old tires. Make sure you put good tires on your car. It makes it a lot safer, a lot more fun to drive, a lot more controllable. Well, like the C5 Z06, one thing I'll say is we have another set over there. So, and this is an older tire. Honestly, the Nitto NTO1 at this point is an old tire. It's been out for over 10 years. I don't know if they've had actual updates to the compound or anything during that time, but we have that on the C5 Z06 right now, and that you can get it rolling. You can roll out and go flat to the floor, and it just hooks and goes in first gear, like no problem, just takes off. With the original tires, you're spinning in second, third, like no problem, just that wide open throttle. So like, that's the kind of difference we're talking about here is the more modern tires. Like, I think these Michelins are probably grippier, honestly. Some will argue, but I've actually run similar lap times on a PS4S than an R888R. I actually think I was slightly faster on the Michelin street tire, which is dumb. There's obviously a lot faster tires these days, but you still see those R888Rs on a lot of stuff for some reason. That's why we ditched them on the Viper. Horrible tire, especially for a street tire. No thank you. And honestly, they feel squishy and they slosh around. I don't care what you think. Drive on this and those back to back, you will think you're riding on flat tires with R888Rs. This will give you way better feedback in your car. I was gonna say, I'll talk about that while Ethan's bringing over. He brought up a good point about the Hoosiers. So there is a Michelin Pilot Sport 5 now, but it hasn't really, there's not like a full production line of them, or not like all the sizes. So the PS4S is pretty much the best kind of street tire you can get these days. That's just a full-on street tire, not like a track day tire. So this is the newest tire from Hoosier right here. here, you can see like the shape of the tire is different. Like the whole construction of it is different than like the Michelin here. Obviously this is a lot more grooves and stuff for water. This is definitely meant to be on the track. Obviously these have been on the track too. You can tell by all the graining here. But this was because we couldn't get these in time for the Targa event. And honestly, it rained a lot at the Targa event. So this was a good, good enough tire to have for the Targa. So you can see how much tread depth this has versus the Hoosier. Because these are like, this is actually done the Targa event. So this has been on 5 racetracks or whatever. So surprisingly, obviously it's got street miles since then, or the whole thing would look like this, but held up really well to that. The track attacks here, so definitely way grippier than the Michelin. They handle the heat better. Like this one will just blister if you get it too hot. I've definitely destroyed a set of these before. Definitely, yeah, there are different use cases, for different tires. So like I'm a big fan of these on a car that's gonna be on the road. If you're not a super serious track day guy, these are just fine. They're grippy right out of the box. You don't really have to like warm them up or anything. They do fall away as they get overheated. They're just right out of the box, you're good to go. The grip you have is a grip. You have something like this, it does like a little bit of heat, so it kind of gets a little bit faster to a point. Don't pick a tire. If you can only have one tire for your car and you do drive your car like every day, don't do anything like stickier than like a 200 trim wear. Like if you're ever gonna be in any kind of inclement weather or it's cold, like you're putting yourself and others at risk and you're not losing anything out of your car, like for sure. Like that's what I mean with these. Like this is great on the road. We don't need the heat tolerance. This is never, if you're driving your car hard enough on the road to overheat this tire, you are in some like GTA, whatever trip going on. I don't know how you would do that, honestly. And this isn't even about driving fast. Like you'd have to drive fast, threshold brake, turn at the limit, accelerate at the limit, brake at the limit, turn at those are the type of things that that's not like a once or twice slam on the brakes, go around a corner. You can do an autocross at these and they're not gonna disintegrate. Now this would be a stickier tire, because as you're scrubbing on it, this is gonna get stickier. This really isn't gonna get stickier. So that's where you want a different type of tire. But the gap is closed. Like it used to be like, oh, you get an R-Comp tire, it's gonna shave seconds off your lap time. And yes, they are a bit faster, but like it's nothing like it used to be. I remember the first time I ran, these are competitors. This is more of a track tire. That's crap. But I mean, back in the day, this is probably the factory tire for the C6 Z06, if I had to guess. When these tires came out, these were awesome. I remember when these came out and I put them on a client's car and I was impressed. There you go. This tire, you could look at it on a car and be like, oh, that's got a set of good tires on it. Might as well have been driving on an ice skating rink. That's how important tires are. I'm talking about how crappy this tire, and I look at it, it's literally a tire that I used to love. 100%, yeah, this rubber is hardened, it's toast. This tire is 11 years old. So you see that a lot on sports cars that aren't driven all the time because people look, oh, it's got plenty of tread. Tire is toast. It's not worth it at all. So the interesting thing is the Pilot Super Sport was replaced by the Michelin Pilot Sport 4, which was quickly replaced by the 4S. I think they only made that for like a year or something to that effect. So this is just the predecessor to this tire right here. So it's really the predecessor.